trapped in a cybertronic construct run by mainframe CPUs over an integrated fiber network. But if you were, let's say, to refuse something in a way that I don't like, I will kill you.
.hack sign is an interesting beast to tackle indeed, not because of the series itself, but because any fan of the show, regardless of how much they may or may not like it, are ultimately fans of the .hack franchise, and always seem to take criticism on sign to be bashing on the franchise as a whole. So, let me put this out straight from the beginning, that I do enjoy the .hack franchise. I've played through the original games, the GU games, I've read the manga, the prequel books, and I've watched episodes from all 4 anime included. And with that, I can safely say that .hack sign has absolutely no purpose. The story of Hack Sign is of a young computer user whose avatar is named Tsukasa that enjoys playing an MMORPG simply known as The World. And through a case of poor happenstance, Tsukasa is pulled into the game against his will and is forced to live inside of it. Those last 2 sentences basically make up all of the relevant information that you're going to need throughout the course of the series. From there, we get to meet up with various other players of the game who all become intently interested in Tsukasa for his ability to break the laws of the game, both by traveling wherever he pleases without using traditional methods, and with a giant dumbbell creature that follows him around. Also about this young girl that he seems to know so much about and whose purpose is just to kind of float there. Or something. They don't really get into it much. The show likes to throw a lot of information at you, and though what is happening is easy to understand, I guess, the show likes to repeat itself without expanding very quickly. The pacing in the show is so completely god-awful, and Tsukasa himself just waltzes around making Evangelion Shinji look like a happy poster child, and that's saying something. This is the type of show where you could get up to use the washroom, fix yourself some food, grab a drink, come back 15 minutes later, and probably not have missed a thing. A lot of the scenes in the first half of the series contain 5-minute scenes between characters who ask each other if there's any news on Tsukasa, only to get the reply, "Nothing yet." What really boggles my mind is how this sort of thing would never happen in a real MMO. What would you do if you were playing World of Warcraft only to have some guy come over and PK you and everyone in your area, including the admins? Well, you would slap yourself and wake yourself up from this horrible nightmare, because no one would be stupid enough to release an MMO to the mass market in which they do not have full control over. Such a thing is for parody. Actually, let's step back a moment. I do not personally recall at any time in the entire show where an admin of the world gets involved. Not once. Sure, you have a player who's breaking all the laws of the game, even causing people to have real, actual comas and memory loss outside of the game, and no one from the admin steps in? I am all for suspending disbelief for certain things, but lead me to believe that the admins would do nothing, leaving the common player to just solve everything? Well, I don't think they have created a word for this kind of dumb yet, so I'll just do with derp. And just like that makes absolutely no sense, so does this segue, which leads into the animation, of which there isn't a lot of. Hack Sign is not an animation-heavy show, it's more of a talking head show. Lots of talking, not a lot of doing. Which is not always a bad thing. A good example of how talking head animation can be done well is Death Note. Though I then have to reiterate that, at least with Death Note, what they were saying was relevant and interesting. As usual, one of the few saving graces of this show is the music. The music for Sign is downright beautiful, even if the scenes that play over it aren't. It has the real sense of emotion to it and brings in its own little mood to try and liven up the scenes. Here, take a listen. Beautiful. Now that leads me into the opening and ending. Just like the show, the opening song Obsession makes absolutely no sense, showing scenes of this woman dancing around that are never truly explained in the show, leaving the viewer to try and figure it out on their own. Some of which who will be the first people to tell me how much I don't seem to understand about this show, because I can't even figure out simple things like that. But even though the visuals make no sense, the entire song is spoken in English, which also makes no sense, but it is very, very catchy, and it at least looks pretty, which is more than I can say for the ending, which is slow, bland, and more or less skippable. But I've looked long enough at what's bad about the show, but what does the show need? What would have made it more interesting? Well, though it pains me to say it, fan service.
For fan service!
No, seriously, out of any show to at least have some inkling of fan service, you would think that it would be .hack Sign. Yeah, sure, some of the female cast likes to show their midriff, but it all seems, well, rather plain and shoddy. Maybe because it was trying to aim itself at a younger audience? Perhaps, I don't know, but it could have helped in distracting the viewers from lack of plot. So, final thoughts on Boredom, the MMO, the anime. I will admit that the final few episodes make up for a lot, and they are much better not only from a writing standpoint, but also an animation standpoint. I swear that the animation budget must have just like skyrocketed during those last few episodes, because everything just looked so much better. Or maybe it was just me, but even with that, I can seriously not give this show a recommendation, basically to anyone, really. If you're a fan of the games and the other shows, Sign's not going to help you understand nor give much bonus information about the world that other entries in the franchise would not, and honestly, even though the thought of getting sucked into a computer has been the fantasy of many a child, it has been done. And better. So I give .hack Sign a definite pass. You can do much better than watch this. Even though I realize I was hypocritical in the last few statements.
You know what? Fuck you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Where's all this hostility coming from?
I worked hard getting you here, planning and scheming until you made a pivotal mistake, and then I trap you here thinking I will make you cry, beg to be released. Hell, who would blame me? You haven't even had tea in the last 5 months, yet you sit there, calmly reviewing one anime after another, until finally you insult one of my favorites, and I will not have it.
Another one of your favorites? What was the first? Was it... Oh, I get it now.
What?
It makes so much sense! You're a bloody fanboy, aren't you? I'm only here because I insulted your precious Akira. Isn't that right? So then, now that I've insulted .hack Sign, what are you gonna do about it?
I'm going to hit you in the head.
Seriously?
No, not really. I can't back that up.
So that whole "you're gonna kill me" thing, not true?
Yeah.
So... can I go now?
Yeah.
Sweet! And I thought there was gonna be some super special awesome final battle or something first.
Awesome! Well then, I'm out of here. Toodles!
But know this, Ark. Whenever you review an anime with a following, I will be there. Whenever you trounce on an episode... Whenever you trounce on the amount of episodes Bleach has, I will be watching. Whenever you comment on the ending of Evangelion, I will remember. I do not forgive. I do not forget. And one day, you will die by my hand.
無駄だ無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄無駄ザ・ワールド時を止まれそして時は動き出す踊ろうだ
Hey
What the hell are you doing? Playing TIE Fighter. It's a good game. Welcome back, by the way. Thanks. I miss anything interesting? Not really. ASAM, Anime North. I reviewed Naruto with Prof. Don't look at me like that. It's not like I gave it a rating review or anything. It's... Okay, good. I was about to say. You don't look too good. Yeah, I've been better. So what are you gonna do now then? Well, if I can get up. Stretch. Well, first, I'm gonna get some tea. Then I think I'll review some anime. Good for you. You got a huge backlog to go through. I should know. I'm keeping track. Yeah. Good luck. Thanks.